Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on our podcast, American Barbell Unleashed. I'm sitting here with Garry Lodoen. Gary's been in the industry for,
35 years now.
35 years or more. And we're sitting here at the Olympia Expo. And I want you guys to hear a little background from Garry on the history of the event and how long he's been involved.
Yep. So it's been a long haul. I'll tell you what, the Olympia started back in 1965. Joe Weider started that. I think everybody knows Weider Publications. Probably you picked up a Flex magazine or a Muscle and Fitness when you were 10 years old and got into working out. Well, that's all because of Joe Weider. That was actually the biggest publishing company in the entire world for several years. They had more magazines they put out at, Barnes and Nobles, at grocery stores. You saw them everywhere. So anyways, they started doing the Mr. Olympia. First ever Mr. Olympia, Larry Scott. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got Ronnie Coleman. You've got Phil Heath. Big names that have won. This is the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, right? Well, they started doing this fitness expo back in the early 2000s. The Mr. Olympia used to be all over the world. Finland, it was in Helsinki, South Africa. And in 1999, they moved it here to Las Vegas to Mandalay Bay. So it was the first time it was in Las Vegas, and it was huge. It sold out. And the promoters went, oh, my God, this is the perfect place to have it. It's a destination. So Las Vegas, they started hosting it here since 1999. So we moved to the Orleans for several years. They added this expo to it to compete with the Arnold. So this expo has blown up over the years. I mean, I was here for the 50th anniversary and the 60th, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's just wonderful. So it was back for us, I think it was 2012. I happened to talk to the promoters, and I said, hey, how come you guys don't do Olympic weightlifting here? And they said, no, we've got powerlifting. I said, no, Olympic weightlifting. You pick it up from the ground and put it over your head. And they said, well, we didn't know there was a difference. I said, no, it's huge. It's the biggest
What year
sport.
was that?
2012.
2012, okay.
It was the biggest sport at the Arnold. They had 1,600 athletes that were competing. It was the biggest meet at the Arnold. And I said, hey, why don't you guys have that here? And they said, you know how to run one of those meets? I said, well, yeah, I do. And they said, would you like to run it? I said, wow, okay, sure. And, all of a sudden it started. So we had a real small meet the first year, 10 people. And then it built up, and we added up to 45 or 50 world-class lifters. We had Dmitry Klokov. We had a couple of silver medalists. So this thing blew up, and it was great. Then after COVID, everything kind of died. So it's like everything else. So, the event kind of went downhill, but I called a really good friend of mine, a guy named Mr. Phil with American Barbell. I think you know who he is.
Yeah.
And Phil over here, Phil Patty, he said, hey, I'd like to be a part of this. I said, okay, great, let's get you in. So it took this long, and now we have this amazing event going on. It's all the greatest equipment you could possibly use, and we got the greatest sponsor over here with Phil. So, Phil, thanks for being a part of it. I'm just happy to be here and set it up.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and it looks like a great turnout. We've met some great people. Garry, as long as I've known him, is very connected in the bodybuilding world as far as just knows just about everybody.
It's been a long time. I started competing in bodybuilding in 1992. I was 14 years old, my first show that I did. And I won Teenage Nationals in 1997. And now here I am doing Masters. So I've been competing for over 35 years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, it's proof positive that you don't have to stop. You don't have to let age be a factor. You can do it as long as you want. And it's great. And I'll tell you right now, the equipment that American Barbell makes, I've got a couple of bars. I've got some, the back-supported leg press machine. Absolutely wonderful. It's all ergonomically designed, and Phil does a wonderful job. So if you guys get a chance to check this stuff out, they make the finest dumbbells in the world. And I've heard this speech millions of times, but boy, those dumbbells they've never bent one. 2.5 million dumbbells.
2.5 million pairs.
Yep, never bent one. I mean, it's just the most solid, beautiful piece of equipment you could possibly use. And they've got a great line of home equipment stuff, too. So if you ever want to try American Barbell, this is the place to go. I fully believe that.
Appreciate that. Hey, one last thing I wanted to cap off with. What's your take on the way the industry has evolved? Because I've had some podcast interviews recently with some top-level female athletes, two of them in particular, Ashley Kaltwasser
Yep.
and Ashlyn Little.
Yep.
And when I heard from them the way the industry has evolved, all the different categories, I was shocked. I didn't realize that there were so many categories.
I could give you some history on it. It's amazing. So Ashley Kaltwasser, she's the winningest IFBB pro of all time. That's bar none. Bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever. But the bikini champion, 3 times Miss Olympia, and she's won 35 IFBB titles over her career. She's an amazing woman, and she just gets better and better. So Ashley's a great person. So what happened when I first started bodybuilding, and I'll try to keep this brief, but in 1992, there were 8 pro cards per year for men and 8 pro cards for women per year. That was it. There was 8 men and 8 women every year that became pro. So when you got your pro card as a bodybuilder, you were going to the Olympics. I mean, this was like the biggest deal. It was like getting a PhD. I mean, that was the pinnacle of competitive sports. So, you know, all of a sudden, I think it was right around 1994 or 5, so they said, hey, you know, let's add in fitness, okay? So they didn't really know what to do with it. So they said, hey, you got to do a gymnastics routine. You have to do a 1-piece and a 2-piece bikini, and then you get judged on your physique, and you get judged on this gymnastics fitness routine. So all the girls, it became the biggest division. All these girls were doing it. Well, you're so dieted down when you do a bodybuilding show that a lot of girls are getting hurt, and they couldn't do this gymnastics. So they said, well, hey, let's do figure, and that's just your physique, front and back. We'll do 2-piece and 1-piece. So then they said, oh my God, we're making so much money now. Everybody wants to do this. Hey, I got an idea. Let's do a bikini division.
Right.
So then they added in bikini. Now you got 4 divisions for women, 1 division for men. So women's bikini blew up. It was the biggest division out of everything. And that was when Ashley turned pro. That was right around 2001, I think, right? So bikini became the biggest. I mean, it was huge, and it saved the sport, right? So now all of a sudden we go from 8 pro cards for men and 8 pro cards for women. You're going 8 pro cards for men and about 50 or 60 for women every year. Well, somebody had the bright idea, and they said all of a sudden, hey, I got an idea. Let's do women's physique. It's a step down from bodybuilding, and women that aren't as big will love to do it. And hey, let's do men's physique as well. Well, hey, guys don't like to train legs, so let's let them wear shorts, right? So all of a sudden, oh my God, everybody hops in. The sport got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So now you got men's physique, women's physique. So you got about 9 different divisions going on. And then they're giving out pro cards left and right. So now at one show, they're giving out 127 pro cards when they used to give out 8 pro cards for men and 8 pro cards for women for a year.
Wow.
And now one show, they're giving 127.
Yeah, it's gotten lengthy too. And I've heard the complaints about the length of the show is exhausting.
It's exhausting, and they have to switch judges in and out. It's really an amazing predicament that they've done. But, you know, they've gotten more people involved. That's the best part. So this year, they added another women's division. That's called Fit Model, which is supposed to be basically your first show you've never worked out. And it's basically what bikini was in the beginning. So now you've got 9 divisions for women and 3 divisions for men. So it's became something, it's
so
a
much
beast.
more for women. Interesting.
It is. And the thing is, the local shows that you do, there's not that much of a difference between the men's bodybuilding and the men's physique, the women's bikini, the women's bodybuilding. You can really tell on the pro stage, though. The pro judges really know what the difference is, but the amateur pools are not as big. So it's one of those things where it's grown the sport quite a bit, but the divisions need a little bit more of a separation between them, you know, a little bit better rules and all that. But you're absolutely right. Now you've got so many more people involved with the sport, so many different types of physiques. It's different than it was 20 years ago. It really is.
Well, there you've got it. So thanks everybody for tuning in to American Barbell Unleashed. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and see you on the next go round.
Appreciate it, guys.